in this video, we will talk about Nio China, Hefei, why the Hefei government owes Nio China a huge favor, and also why, in my personal opinion, not financial advice, that Nio stock is a relatively safe investment with a huge, massive safety net. All right. And of course, got to stress this, not financial advice. But first, let's go over some of the recent news that just happened. Yesterday, we talked about how there's mass hirings for the factory, emergency workers. Here, we actually have some photos and videos of what's going on. They're hiring fresh graduates out of university for body shop workers, final assembly, paint shop workers. The benefits seem pretty standard. 12-hour shifts. Some of them are 24-hour shifts. I mean, like night shifts. And that's definitely very good. You want to see more workers and pump out more cars. So that is something to keep in mind. Now, let's talk about the main important thing, which is, of course, Nio China, Hefei, Nio Inc. The last time I talked about this, it was right before the massive dilution. It was right before when they were investing 20 billion RMB, Nio Inc. investing 20 billion RMB into Nio China. So this is pretty important, okay? So the Hefei government owes Nio a huge favor, because back when the Hefei government saved Nio, and essentially they formed Nio China, Hefei government owned 20% of Nio China, 20-ish percent. Nio Inc. owned the remaining 80% of Nio China, and that pretty much rescued Nio out of the grave, and Nio stock absolutely exploded. And then, of course, ever since then, Nio Inc. has been gradually buying back equity from Nio China. And the first time they bought back, it was exactly at Nio China's purchase price. But then ever since then, it's been way more than what Nio China, what Hefei has paid for. So the Hefei government, off of their rescue package of Nio, has more than 5x'd their money. All right, they 5x'd their money, which is a huge successful investment for the Hefei government. And they still own about 8% of Nio China, whereas 92% of Nio China is owned by Nio Inc. And with that 5x investment, of course, they earned a huge profit, Hefei government. The Hefei government, back a few years ago, actually said that they're not going to just run away with the money. All that money that they earned is going to go into supporting Nio. So this is definitely, very good. It's hand in hand. And with that, they're having lots of different incentive policies and subsidies, and also helping them build factories and all that kind of stuff, building lots of like swap stations and all these all-in-one swap stations, etc. And of course, Nio has also really helped the Hefei government a lot by essentially really lifting Hefei, the city of Hefei, to become one of the top auto manufacturing cities in China. And for example, ever since Nio got rescued by Hefei, Nio has really sort of attracted a lot of talent, and also they sort of helped BYD come to Hefei, they helped Volkswagen come to Hefei, and essentially Hefei has become like an auto manufacturing center. So that's definitely very nice, and it's all owed and thanks to Nio themselves. And even Nio themselves, before they only had like 40 suppliers and manufacturing partners in Hefei. Now they have like 120 plus. So it's just a huge benefit to both parties, to the Hefei government and to Nio. And of course, knowing that Hefei government has just been so happy with everything that they've gained from Nio, not just profit-wise, but also, workforce, technology, all right, becoming a capital of auto manufacturing, they owe Nio a huge favor. And that's why I believe, in my personal opinion, that the Hefei government is just really willing to invest more into Nio. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that if worst case scenario, all right, worst case scenario, if it comes to the point where Nio is in dire trouble and, running out of money or in the similar situation that it faced back in 2019, I am 100% sure, in my personal opinion, that the Hefei government will lend out its helping hand once again, because last time they did it, it was so successful for them. They've achieved so much. And but for that to happen, they're not, first of all, they are actively trying to invest into Nio. Like last year, earlier, they tried to invest into Nio. They basically chased down Nio to invest into Nio. I forgot how much it was, but they did that. But I think if for the safety net to really be cast and you see a massive, like things just get absolutely turned around, then something would really have to be like, Nio would have to be in a dire situation. A safety net is a safety net, right? It's not really like you're not going to use the safety net unless things are really bad. So I don't think that Hefei government will really invest deep into Nio unless things get really bad. And if things get really bad, this is very hypothetical. I'm talking about maybe the share price goes down to $1 per share, which I do not think that would ever happen. But if that is the case, the Hefei government will be very happy to lend out their helping hand. And I'm pretty confident. So what I'm trying to say, to sum it all up, is, in my personal opinion, again, not financial advice, that I don't think Nio stock will ever go to zero. Okay? I don't think Nio stock will ever go to zero. Nio stock might go lower, possibly. And then if we don't get profitability in Q4, Nio continues to lose massive amounts of money, which could happen, right? Nobody knows for 100% sure that profitability is guaranteed. We won't go to zero, because if the share price goes low enough and things are sort of in trouble, Nio's in trouble, the Hefei government will step in once again. Okay? There's that massive safety net, which is why I believe that even though Nio stock could go lower and you could potentially lose money in Nio stock, I don't think Nio stock will ever go to zero. My personal opinion, not financial advice. Okay? This is, of course, just my analysis and deep dive into the relationship between Hefei government and Nio. The Hefei government is very thankful towards Nio for all that they've done. So, yeah, there's basically a huge, massive safety net. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's a relatively safe investment, in my personal opinion. All right. The Hefei government is the safety net. And I believe that with all that they've gained, they will not let Nio down. And they will not let Nio ever falter if that ever comes to that situation. So that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying Nio is going to go down. No, I'm saying if Nio goes down, Hefei government will be there to support it. So Nio is relatively safer investment, in my personal opinion. Just my opinion. Okay, I can't stress this enough. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.